Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today I want to do something a little bit different. You see, we all know Games Workshop. They are one of the most protective, just putting it very lightly there, cough cough, of their IP. They've taken people to court for even just having something very similar to what they may have, which is kind of funny considering that a lot of Warhammer is practically just lifted from other stuff. So today I kind of want to talk about one of the things that they lifted. Now, I'm not going to talk about the Kale Star, which I think Michael Moorcock has mentioned a lot of times why he doesn't like Games Workshop for many reasons. But we're going to talk about that time where Games Workshop decided to lift the Fellowship of the Ring and put them into the Warhammer Fantasy universe. Yes, there were miniatures that were created and basically just implemented the whole Fellowship of the Ring into the setting. This was when Citadel Journal was still a thing and the Hungry Hordes were introduced. This was the Halfling roster, which a lot of people look back with a lot of fondness. But there were some characters introduced, which back in the day, you know, was perfectly fine. It was parody. It was what Warhammer Fantasy was basically doing a lot. Nowadays would have caused problems. Maybe not so much, considering that Games Workshop still has access to the Lord of the Rings franchise through their own Middle-earth strategy battle game, but yeah, you will see what I mean. So instead of having the Fellowship of the Ring, you had the Comradeship, which is an elite club. To join it, one must be incredibly brave, incredibly rich, or incredibly stupid, preferably all three. All members of the Comradeship are wanderers, all looking for somewhere to go. Together, Arrogand, Olorin, Legless, and Giblet, it's very tough not to laugh at these names, along with the usual ragtag bunch of halflings they always attract, form the Comradeship. An unlikely bunch, but you never know. Yeah, so you've already got the names there. It's actually kind of funny because obviously you've got Aragon with Arrogand. Fun fact, Olorin is actually the name Gandalf had in Quenya. The only difference is in the Quenya tongue, there's actually a bit of an accent over the I believe. Legolas is Legolas and Giblet is Gimli. I feel really bad for Gimli. I feel like he had the worst name there. But yeah, there was actual rules, there was actual details. And we're going to go over the characters because, I mean, this sounds hilarious, right? So let's talk about Olorin, the Grey Wizard. Yep. So, an itinerant wanderer, Olorin is much admired in the moot for his firework displays and even more so for his ability to pull rabbits out of a hat. Tasty rabbits too. Olorin has a secret, but he's not telling. So, yeah, we've already got Gandalf here. He's a grey wizard. His stats were not too bad, to be honest. Obviously, these stats have been long out of date for a long time now, even like considering how much he costed in terms of points and so on. But it's kind of funny to see that, right? Next, we've got Arrogand the Layabout. Arrogand is the type of bloke you see sitting in the corner of any tavern in the Empire, alone, scruffy and unloved, at least by those who don't know who he is. He claims to be a king in waiting of a far-off land. He could be right, who knows? Again, you know, taking from the Strider persona that Aragon had for a while, it's just kind of funny to see this, and it really does make me miss old school Games Workshop, where they used to just parody a lot of stuff, because it was fun, right? Giblet was at least a little bit unique. Giblet is a failed slayer. In absolute shame, his peers sent him out to befriend an elf. This he did, much to the elf's disgust. His low leadership means that he is very likely to run away at the mere mention of trouble if he were not in the company of his companion, Legless the elf. So yeah, he would actually run away, which is kind of funny. But if he was around Legless, he would actually gain the immune to psychology rule. If he was not around Legless, he would get the stupidity rule, which was actually fairly unique in all honesty. Still, obviously very different to the Gimli that we actually know, but yeah, I mean, it's weird, right? Then finally we have Legless the Elf. Legless, out for his morning constitutional, was forcibly befriended by a hapless dwarf named Giblet. The two have formed an unlikely friendship, and Legless has taken upon himself to steer the failed slayer into trouble whenever possible. Oh god, I love this so much. By the way, for those who might not be aware, morning constitutional in posh English means going out for a morning walk. In just like having a little bit of fun, it means taking a dump. But yeah, that's our characters here, the Comradeship, which, yeah, pretty fun, you know. Again, Games Workshop back in the day used to have as much fun as possible, which I know sounds very, Very odd, considering the Games Workshop that we have today, but it's actually taken a little bit further with some magical items. You see, there was the Ring of Concealment. This magical ring makes it very difficult to see its wearer. He cannot be hit by missile fire, and the enemy suffers -2 to hit him in close combat, obviously taking from the One Ring. Then there is Glammy Ding. This magic sword gives its bearer +2 strength. In addition, it causes fear in orcs and goblins. Again, taken from the Lord of the Rings universe, this is Glamdring, which is the sword that Gandalf uses that you see, say, for example, in the films. He uses it constantly to fight pretty much everything. Or lastly, we have Bimbo's Book of Sage Advice. The book enables its bearer to give some sound advice to his army. At the beginning of the game, roll a d6. On a 1 to 2, one unit may re-roll failed missile hits. On a roll of 3 to 4, one unit may re-roll missed hits in hand-to-hand fighting. 5 to 6, one unit receives +1 to its rank bonus. Sage Advice is halfling for a good talking to. Obviously, this is taken from the whole book that, Bilbo was writing there and back again. So yeah, we have some pretty interesting rules over here, don't we? Now, a lot of people would shout, this is theft, this is theft, this is theft. But it was parody, and parody is one of these things which kind of allow you to lift some stuff and put it into your own setting. It's why we have stuff like Robot Chicken, for example. And I wanted to talk about this because I was actually going through this journal. I was actually looking at the halfling rules because I'm having a little fun match with a few friends soon, and we're going to try and update the halfling rules to 8th edition standards, and it made me realize how much I missed old Games Workshop. Halflings are something funny, right? I mean, they had giant swans and baby dragons and stuff, and then they also had this. I mean, Games Workshop have done a lot of parody stuff over the years. We had a character that was basically just Michael Jackson. There was obviously Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau. Hell, the Dogs of War Army book was essentially mostly puns and parodies. And again, it's literally what gave a little bit of fun to a very grimdark setting. I know a lot of people didn't like it too, but the idea is everything was dark and depressing. Having a little bit of light comedy here and there does bring in a little bit of fresh air. And my biggest hope is that Warhammer the Old World will take a lot from earlier editions of Warhammer Fantasy and also bring in some light comedy every now and then. We know that we're going to get supplements, that's basically confirmed, so it would be cool if there was something to do with the moot and there could be a little throwback to the comradeship. Or if we could go somewhere else and there'd be a throwback to something else. Time will tell, obviously, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about this today. And every now and then I want to do something completely different, and I like going into old Hammer stuff. It's kind of hilarious to me, and I feel like it would be great conversational pieces with you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. This video should have gone live whilst I'm still at TwitchCon, so I do apologize I'm a bit slow with responses and so on, but I imagine that internet's going to be kind of limited, and I'm also doing a few things with a few companies, so yeah, networking time. But until then, I'll see you all again very, very soon, guys. Have a good day.